Alright, hey YouTube, this is an ANCAP Cat here. I'm gonna be making a video on what society can do to improve itself on the civilian side. Like, usually I make a video about the ruling class and how they're so bad and they corrupt society and bring it down and stuff. Well, now I'm just gonna go on a video about society itself, just the normal civilians, and how they can improve themselves to improve society. What problems they're causing to it, independent of the government. So, what society can start out with not doing anymore, or at least reducing, mitigate, harm reduction, all that jazz, is to stop doing the bystander effect. Because the bystander effect is really harmful. Like, like that woman on the subway in Ukraine, no, not Ukraine, that Ukrainian immigrant slash refugee on the subway in, like, South Carolina, North Carolina, whatever, wherever, the bystander effect was in full effect there because that guy stabbed her, no one intervened. She was bled to death, no one intervened. And that's really sad. And that's what happens when people don't help each other out, is people just die in the most extreme cases. So I think if society wants to improve and be more caring, it needs to, like, step up and care for people more. I've heard people complain in the last couple decades. I've complained in the last couple decades of how rude it's gone, and and to fix that rudeness or meanness, or at least reduce it, mitigate it. I use that word a lot. You gotta, like, help out yourself. Help, as in help, contribute your help to the world. I don't mean help yourself, like, oh, just care for yourself. Just thought I'd clear that up. So, that being said, I guess I could also mention road rage. Don't do it. Don't flip people off or honk at them unnecessarily. It's not nice. It's not worth it. Some people even get killed over that shit. We certainly don't kill people. If we want nicer roads, we gotta be nicer drivers. And it would also help if pedestrians would be nicer. Like, don't take your time walking in front of a car. Don't jaywalk when a car is way too close to you. Like, I think it's okay to jaywalk, but you gotta do it responsibly. You can't just jut out right when a car is about to go over an area that you're jutting out. You gotta give those drivers some distance. They can't stop instantaneously, of course. Another thing people should do to, like, be nicer is, well, what's another thing? I guess try not to snap at each other. If it's not necessary to snap at someone, don't snap at someone. Because it can kind of hurt. I've been snapped at before. It hurt. It wasn't necessary when people did it, at least most of the time. And I just feel like a better way for people to get along is to, like, have a bit more patience and just try to be nice if someone says something kind of dumb or out of pocket. Just try to be calm about it. Most people are reasonable. Back down or back off if they're asking something personal or saying something stupid. No need to snap at them. Another thing people should do is to either stop having their dog poop on other people's lawn and not picking up, or not have their dog poop on other people's lawn at all. Like, have their dog just poop on the sidewalk and pick it up from there. It's really weird when they just leave it there and it's not their yard to have their dog poop on it. And it's just common courtesy to not use someone else's yard as your dog's toilet. And people have been killed over this. I'm not saying it's right to kill someone over it. It's not, but you can avoid unnecessary death if you're not an asshole and don't just leave your dog poop on someone's lawn, or, be an asshole in general. Not being an asshole in general, no one. So once again, I'm not condoning killing someone over being an asshole, but in a way, their death would have been prevented if they carried themselves in a nicer way towards other people. So, yeah. What else? I think Sometimes I think people expect too much out of people. Like I heard this one phrase, when people go dating nowadays, they expect the perfect partner. It's like we're expecting perfect. I heard him say something like, I forgot who said it or where they said it or where I saw it, whatever. The point is, some guy said, we're not happy with our dating lives because we're expecting perfect people when nobody's perfect. And it seems very legitimate to say. It's like, if we're expecting perfect people and they're not being perfect and we just dump them for that, then we don't have a partner anymore based on the fact that our expectations were too unreasonable. Like, we expect them to be perfect. Oh, they expected them perfect. I don't date yet. They weren't perfect, so we just kind of disregarded them for not being perfect. Something like that. I also think it'd be nice if people wouldn't litter so much. Like, cigarette butts, that's like the most, I heard that's the most common, statistically that's the most common type of litter. It's just people smoking, throwing their cigarette on the ground, and not even putting it in the trash can. I mean, ultimately you're supposed to put it in an ashtray, but at least put it in the trash can. Well, make sure you put it out first, but at least put it in the trash can. There's people who won't even do that. They're right at the bus. Usually people smoke at a bus stop. Trash can's right there, and they just put their cigarette out in the trash can. They don't throw it in or something, or they just throw it on the ground. People need to stop doing that. People need to stop littering in general. I think I'm trying to think. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm trying to think why the world has gotten so volatile or violent. I'm really not sure. I mean, I heard it's changing times. Times change too fast for people to handle. Something like that. I'm not sure. But I feel like it's important to get back on track with good behavior and be nice to one another. Be good to one another. So, one thing I guess if we want to get into the economic side of things, I think people shouldn't rip people off when it comes to hiring them. Like, rip their employers off. I mean, their employees off, if I could talk. Like, our prospective employees, like, could we stop with the ghost jobs? Please. Can we stop with the ghost jobs? The ghost jobs help no one. They're just a fucking scam, basically. Can we stop getting desperate people's hopes up that really need a job, only to not even hire them and just take their personal information that it took to apply for the job and use it for their own personal gain, even though they didn't hire the employee? I mean, that's not nice. That's not nice to run these scams that make society worse. And you, as a civilian, have a choice to not make a ghost job. You have a choice to be transparent, upfront, and honest, and have your job openings be real openings for real jobs. I think if we want a nicer society, we need to stop ripping off people. Another thing is, don't be too hard on your employees. Like, I heard there's this one woman at Burger King who was basically running the whole restaurant herself, the whole franchise herself, that one restaurant, and she got fired for it or something. And ironically, the other employees that were supposed to be there to help her run the restaurant, to do their jobs, pull their weight, they weren't there, and yet I heard they didn't get fired. So, don't be so hard on your employees. They're people too. They have lives. They can't just dedicate their whole life to work. Humans have to have free time. It's just a fact. Psychologically, you can't just be in 100% work mode, productive mode, school mode. It's just not healthy for you. And when school or employers or work, whatever, pushes us to work harder than we should be pushed, that's just unhealthy and wrong. So I think as an employer, don't push your employees too hard. Don't make them work too many hours. Don't give them too many tasks. Don't make them work too understaffed. You know, it's just not right, and it's not good for your business anyway. So, and plus, I heard in the U.S. people work too damn much. It's not that people are, and it's not that the people are proposing this are lazy. It's like, oh, we don't want people to work at all. Just be lazy all day. No, it's like they're basically saying the U.S. people in the U.S. in general literally work too much. They're working too long, doing too many tasks, and for what? Just to get extra money or to even keep the job they have? I mean, it's not worth risking your life over. The way I see it, and America can still be a very productive, prosperous nation even if it didn't work its ass off unnecessarily. And fortunately, I don't think America's the only country that does this. I heard Japan has a very toxic ass work culture. I even heard South Korea has a very toxic ass work culture. So we don't need a toxic work culture. We need a functional, ethical work culture. You know, making people work their ass off, that's not ethical. I mean, I get the whole if you don't like it, just leave thing, but people should be nice to their employees anyways. I mean, come on. They're people too. They need a job. I think people should be a bit nicer about that. What else can people do that's nicer to really improve things? Okay, how about this? Try to be a bit more empathetic. I know some people are really dismissive of other people's problems. And I know it's not a person's obligation. Look, I know you don't have a right to a shoulder to cry on. I get it. Sometimes you have to be your own therapist or whatever. But if you can find someone that's willing to lend you a shoulder to cry on, so to speak, if it's like figuratively or even literally, and if you're willing to do that for a person, that's a very nice thing to do. It's very helpful to do. You know, someone to listen to your problems and try to help you through them, or at least even just listen. I feel like there's just too much dismissal in the world of people's problems or something. Like, I don't have a good real life example right now, or outside world example, but on Furfinity, yeah, I have an account on Furfinity, as you probably know, and I draw art, or yeah, whatever. I found this abysmal journal with these really shitty replies where an artist was kind of saying how dumb it was that someone came to them with their personal problems asking for a solution, and the people in the comments are like, my god, they didn't care about people in need at all. They just basically thought they should fuck off, or how dare they try to seek their needs from someone that could possibly provide them with their needs. And I was just really disgusted. It was really gross. There was people in the replies, they're really gross. One person even said a random inquiry deserves a random response. Like, I forget what it was. Maybe it doesn't even bear repeating. It was just really stupid. So I was disgusted. These people who are adults, full-grown adults or whatever, lack basic empathy for people. I mean, like I said, I understand it's not your job. It's not your right to a shoulder to cry on, and it's not your, and thus it's therefore not your obligation or duty to provide a shoulder to cry on. I get that. But to just scoff at people's needs is just a really shitty thing to do. I mean, if you're not in the mood, if you're not the guy for laying that shoulder to cry on, please be nice about it. You know, I mean, if you can, I guess direct them to someone they can get help from, or I mean, or at least say, hey, I'm sorry I can't meet your needs. I'm not that kind of guy. I hope you find someone, but I'm not that guy, so I can't help you. Maybe there's someone who can, but not me. I mean, be nice about it. I don't see why, like, on the internet or even real life, every inquiry that's kind of like not what people expect or want has to be snapped at, I guess. Like, why not just say no? The worst she can say is no, or the worst he can say is no. Well, no, that's not the worst, because obviously people showing how mean they can be by snapping at people for stuff they shouldn't snap at. The worst someone can say is no basically underestimates how rude people can be, or how rude people can be with rejection. So, yeah. So, yeah, I guess that brings me to the next topic. Don't be rude when rejecting someone, like for a date, or for a friendship, or for a project, or whatever. Just say no nicely. That's all you gotta do in terms of your response. You don't need to be mean about, like, okay, you weren't gonna like this person, hence why you rejected them for this thing, but why be mean about it? They just asked. So shouldn't you just, like, be nice and say no? I mean, if they force on you, of course, it makes sense to that. But if they're just being nice, just say no, you know? People don't always know if you're gonna reject them or not. If you may not be the guy they want or not. So it makes sense for them to communicate with you that they need something. They think you might be the guy, and it makes sense for you to be polite if you don't want them and be nice about it. And say, no, hey, sorry, I'm not that kind of guy, or sorry, we're just friends, or I'm not into you that way, or you'd find me not the right guy after all. Something like that. I just don't find the need to be mean about rejection, to essentially punish someone for inquiring that you help them with their needs. I don't see that. There's nothing to punish. Like, they did nothing wrong, so why punish them? Okay. So, fucking room. I guess another thing people could do to be nice is don't be dicks to service workers. They are serving you. They are doing you a service. They are doing something that would be harder for you to do on your own and maybe even more costly. So with that alone, you should show them respect. I heard people aren't very nice service workers. Like, I heard they yell at retail workers if they don't quite have the product they want or can't quite find a product fast enough. I heard they yell at waitresses or waiters for not serving them fast enough. I heard people yell all sorts of things at all sorts of service workers for stuff that really isn't their fault. And that sucks. It does. People should treat people with respect if they're respectful. I don't see a reason to treat someone who's respectful with disrespect. So why treat these people of all people why treat these people who are serving you of all people with disrespect? In terms of morality. I mean, in terms of practicality, if you want to get into practicality, the reason why you should treat someone who's serving you with respect, such as a waiter serving your food or a cook cooking your food, is that if you don't treat them with respect, they might spit in it, okay? They might mess with your food and put some snot in it or spit. It's not good. So in terms of practicality, don't be a dick if you don't want them to mess with your food. Yeah, theoretically they still could mess with your food if you're nice, but at least it makes it less likely if you are nice than if you're not. Another thing I'd like people to be nicer about is to appreciate the blue-collar worker. A lot of people seem to think being blue-collar is shit. Like, God, I hate this. I can't scrub this one fucking memory out of my mind. I know it may be kind of repetitive. I don't think I brought it, but still, if you keep thinking about it, it's like, ugh. But I have a bad memory in my head. Well, of a bad event. See, I had this mean substitute teacher back in elementary school. His name's Mr. B. Lee. I can't search him up. I don't know how to spell his name exactly. Whatever. He was a guy that he'd say, you be flipping burgers if you're not focusing in school, if you're not getting an education. And I heard a similar statement from, like, a teacher assistant back in high school. And the reason why you shouldn't say you'll be flipping burgers is because, one, it's incredibly condescending to those that actually flip burgers. Two, you actually need someone to flip burgers if you want someone to make your freaking meal for you. That's what the job is there for. And three, it basically assumes school is legit if you just do the course, follow the path, you will reach greatness. And that's not necessarily true because the public school curriculum is crap. So, assuming someone can just reach greatness by just following and focusing and doing the work so they avoid being a burger flipper is incredibly disingenuous, stupid, and patronizing. It's like, do you not want people to flip burgers at all? Is that not a job to you? Is that not a service to you? Does that not legitimately pay a person money? Is that illegitimate labor? You know, is that illegitimate labor? Is that why it's so fucking bad to be a burger flipper? I mean, I get the pay. Look, I get the whole pay angle. Like, it doesn't pay the best. I get that, but it's a job that the market still wants. That still serves a purpose, and people shouldn't be discouraged from getting it. It's like, oh, that's the shitty job. Nobody wants that. You don't want that. It pays bad. You don't want that. Then who's gonna fucking do the job? Who's gonna fucking do the job? If it's just patronized on so hard, then nobody does the job. And, oh, since it doesn't pay well, since it's so lowly to be a burger flipper, blue collar worker, I ain't gonna do that shit. So now you don't have anyone to serve your food anymore in terms of someone else serving your food, in terms of burgers. So, you know, ragging on the blue collar worker who does essential services of society like prepare food, make food, pick up your garbage, fix your pipes, it makes no goddamn sense. They have a purpose, they contribute. Why not show them some respect? Like, sometimes when I come across a janitor like at Costco or my community college, I went back in the day, I'd say thank you for keeping the place clean to the janitors, and they like that. So I think people should appreciate more janitors, at least for an example, and tell them thanks for keeping the place clean, or he's cleaning the place. It's just insane to me that people don't treat blue collar workers with respect, even from an in your head intellectual standpoint, even though they do what you ultimately deep down want them to do. You want someone to serve you. You want someone to serve you your food. You want someone to pick up your garbage. You want someone to pick up your plumbing. You want someone to run your water treatment plant. And yet, blue collar work is viewed as with such scorn and disdain and dismissiveness that it makes you kind of think, do people even really want these people around anymore? Do people even want them to do the stuff they do for them anymore? Because if they do, yet disrespect the workers that do it, they're not making a lick of sense. I mean, unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that. So, yeah. And the you'll be flipping burgers thing, I guess it's something usually it's a little ditty teachers usually say, but I'm pretty sure other people can say it too. I mean, they have, so yeah. Another thing people should do is, I guess, try donating to the homeless more. I've donated to the homeless before. I've given them food before. I've volunteered with a food market or food bank for like hate or food directed towards Haiti or something. Something like that. Actually, I'm not sure about the money thing. Maybe I have given away food. Okay, but I want to help the homeless more. But anyways, I'm trying to think. If you see someone homeless and you feel like they could use some food or some money, and you're willing to give, then give, or something, or donate to a charity for homeless, something like that. That kind of brings me to my next one. Don't act like because someone's in a tight spot, it's their freaking fault. Okay, as I already explained, kind of another topic though, as I already explained, or at least a lot of explaining, homelessness isn't necessarily your fault. You know, you have an elitist system that makes people homeless, like with the welfare state and the war on drugs, and increased taxation altogether, and zoning laws, inflation, and regulatory capture of the job market. You have that. And that can make people homeless. But what I want people to realize on the civilian side, besides get rid of the system, that's another topic, is to not blame people for stuff that isn't their fault, or at least isn't necessarily their fault. Stop acting like these people brought it on themselves to be on the street, or even, and some people, I even heard some people say, oh, they want to be on the street, they want this lifestyle. And I'm like, not necessarily. So, I mean, some people are stuck like this, kind of. They didn't choose it. It's not something they aim for, at least. So I think we need to live in a society where people assume less and actually try to learn more, and judge less and actually try to learn more, before acting like that person is their own problem. That person caused their own problems. That person is their own problems. I mean, because that's a really shitty way to look at those who are less fortunate than you. And this kind of brings me to another, maybe subtopic, is the whole people, the kids these days mentality. Can we give that up? Because I don't like, and when either generation really judges each other as a whole. I mean, okay, I guess it is kind of nice to hear people rip on the boomers or something, maybe even Gen X, but only if it's on the boomers that truly deserve it, and the Gen X that deserves it, and the generation that truly deserves it. I don't want to hear people hate boomers or Gen X or any generation as a whole, because that's judgmental. That's discriminatory. I'm especially tired of hearing generations saying, kids these days, like, the youth of today just sucks. The current generation, we just suck. They just suck. We don't want to work hard, and we don't want to do shit, and we just want stuff for free, and we all just want to buy expensive lattes and avocado fucking toast. And that couldn't be further from the truth, that many people are trying to work their tails off, or are working their tails off, but that's not really getting them that far in life, because the damn system, with increasing the cost of living, with its taxation and its inflation and its very poor economic policy, which creates all that and more, but that's another topic. So I think if you get these people to stop acting like anyone who's kind of having trouble with money is just buying avocado toast and expensive lattes from Starbucks, that'd be great. That'd be great if people could empathize with other problems, or sympathize, or show compassion, all that jazz. Such as acting like, it's your fault. It's your fault you're homeless. It's your fault you're not, and even if you're not, it's your fault if you're still living with your parents, or don't have that much money because of stinking avocado toast. Or you're spending too much. Like, a lot of people are trying to cut down on spending, and they're still not having a lot of money because if your purchasing power is poor, and it doesn't matter how much you save, if you can't earn money or earn a decent amount, you're going to stay poor. So, I wish people would, hang on a sec. Alright, I'm back. I just had to take care of some shit. People need to just realize that everything that happens to you is your fault, at least not necessarily. These people need help, and if you can help them, I guess. Whether they're homeless, or having trouble with their life, or money, if you can help, do so. Anyways. I guess I just want people to be less judgmental and stuff. Be nice to people, but stop calling everything racist or whatever, homophobic, or just disregarding people's criticism of stuff just because they don't like it. You shouldn't act like someone's just racist or something just because they say something you don't like. I heard people saying Halloween's racist. I've heard people saying white people are racist, which is racist in and of itself. And of course there's a whole black fatigue, white fatigue thing, or race fatigue thing, which I'm fucking tired of. I made a video on that. So I guess I just want a more reasonable society, or a more kind society. We need to be nice to each other and look out for each other. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of living in society if we're not gonna care for each other or something? I don't mean that in a mushy gushy way. I just mean in general, help each other out, watch out for each other. It doesn't need to be super I don't know, focused or whatever you're saying. I guess ultimately we live in a society to meet each other's material needs, but you know what I mean. So, um, I know this video isn't just gonna magically make it all happen, but I think we can make it happen, which is why I'm making this video. So yeah, this is an ANCAP cat. That's all I can think of right now. So, ANCAP cat, out.